what's up, Airsofters? It's Robo, and we're back with another episode of Robo-Reviews. And on this episode of Robo-Reviews, we're going to take a look at the EssTac plate carrier systems, the Daeodon and the Daeodon Lite. Check it out. So here they are, the EssTac or EssTac Daeodon and Daeodon Lite plate carriers. Now, EssTac is a company from the United States, Washington to be specific. It's veteran owned, and they make tactical accessories and equipment. Now, where does the unique name of Daeodon come from? Well, it actually comes from natural history. Daeodon was a type of entelodont, lived between 29 and 19 million years ago. Daeodon actually stands for hostile or dreadful teeth, and what that is in reference to is actually the entelodonts were a form of very large, I guess kind of wild hog. Not really a hog, but closely related to our modern day hogs. Now, fun fact in that is that the entelodonts themselves are sometimes referred to as hell or Terminator pigs. So that's actually where the name Daeodon comes from, being, again, such a unique name for an armor system. Now, both being related plate carriers, since it is the Daeodon and Daeodon Lite, they do share a lot of similar features, but we'll go through each one, covering the differences and the features that make this plate carrier kind of unique. So with that being said, let's take a look at the Daeodon and then the Daeodon Lite. So here we have the Daeodon plate carrier. One might say a pretty standard armored plate carrier, sized for large plates and below. Now, with that being said, the Daeodon features some very unique design features that kind of set it apart from what you'd see in a standard armored plate carrier. So we'll go through all those. So being a plate carrier, it comes with a front and back plate to carry your armored plates in, obviously. Now, the front plate bag features loop field as well as full loop for attaching things like cummerbunds and front flaps, which we'll get to in a second. And it also comes standard with ITW chasm clips on the front, again to attach front flaps or chest rigs, and we'll get to that in a second as well. Now, both the front and back plate pockets feature an inner flap to secure the plate in place nice and snug. The back plate features full PALS integration as well as loop covered PALS up top, so you still have a loop field plus the usable PALS grid up top for attaching things like pouches, med packs, full back panels, that sort of thing. Now, in this configuration, I have the EssTac full mesh cummerbund, which features a standard 3 rows of PALS webbing here on the outside, so you can attach things like pouches, packs, etc., as well as loop on the inside for attaching things like side plate pockets or other attachments that might use a Velcro attachment. Now, how the cummerbund is actually attached at the back is under a flap system on the back panel, attached to basically some elastic sections here that use G-hooks on either side, aluminum G-hooks to attach to the cummerbund itself. So this is how you would size the cummerbund. You would actually just move these G-hooks to the next row of PALS. The elastic itself gives the cummerbund some room to move during movement, so it allows you to easily breathe as well as bend over, contort your body, things like that, without restricting your rib cage. Now, the flap itself actually folds up and underneath and attaches to the back panel that way, and it's held in place or given some extra structure on top of that flap. So again, if ever there was strain on the loop field below, this nylon strap actually kind of puts a lot of tension back down on it to keep it secured. Now, where we start to get into some of what I consider a unique feature of the Daeodon plate carrier is actually in the shoulder straps themselves. And to fully illustrate this, I'm actually going to open up the plate carrier and have them extended. So as you can see, unlike other plate carriers, it's not a nylon strap that extends from the front plate pocket to the back. It's actually a sheath system. And what I mean by that is there's a arm that extends from the back plate pocket on both sides, and it extends through a sheath that runs the entire way back to the back plate pocket from the front plate pocket, and that back inner arm goes all the way into the front plate pocket. Now, where it gets its padding from is that front arm is actually surrounded by basically, I guess, like a memory foam of some sort that runs into the front plate pocket. Now, how the sheath stays in place is that there's Velcro on the inside, and essentially they compress back here at the back to hold them together. Now, basically, this is how it works for sizing. you would detach the loop that's at the bottom and pull the sheath out. And to tighten it up, all you would do is grab the piece of the arm that extends into the front plate pocket, grab underneath the sheath to disengage the Velcro, and pull it tight. Now, part of why this system is unique is one, you don't see a lot of plate carriers with a sheath system that move in and out this way. But the other point of this is because there's material running from the front plate pocket all the way to the back, and material from the back plate pocket running all the way towards the front, it's not limited to a piece of nylon strapping attached at the top corner of the front plate pocket and the back corner of the front plate pocket. Now what this does is give the entire system a ton of strength and durability throughout the strapping, instead of having stress points in the corner of all the plate pockets. And again, that inner arm itself that extends all the way through here is also completely bound in a memory foam. So the entire strap has a built-in shoulder pad. Now the shoulder straps themselves, they feature on both sides some elastic loops for cord retention or hydration tube routing, things like that, as well as some angled PALS sections here, allow you to attach things like chem lights, pens, small pouches, things like that. You name it, if you've thought of it, you could probably do it there with a pouch. And on the inside of the plate pockets too, you can see how the sheath system works. Here's the front plate pocket with the outer sheath. The back plate pocket's inner sheath goes in there and routes into the front plate pocket itself. Something to kind of point out here, and this goes back into the whole durability and strength of this system. Notice that again, because it's not a nylon strapping in here, there's no stress point across here, and there's no stress point across here. You actually have one piece of fabric, one piece of Cordura fabric that goes all the way on the inside of this plate pocket up into the arm and up into the arm this way, and it's the same on the back. And the front is designed the exact same way. For the most part, right here is one piece of fabric that goes the entire length of that strap. So that means instead of, and like in a traditional plate carrier where you get stress points across these corners, what you're actually getting is an even weight distribution into the front and back plate pockets. So again, I think that's just kind of unique. I haven't seen this system ever before in a plate carrier system, and I shamefully own about 8 of them now just because of my workings with industry partners. So I've seen a lot of plate carriers. I've plated with a lot of plate carriers, and this is the first time I've ever seen a system like this, and I gotta say it actually does do its job. I've worn this plate carrier on the range for entire days without even feeling the weight of it on my body, just because the distribution of the weight is so efficient. Now flipping back into the inside of the plate carrier itself, the type of Cordura fabric that's here, the type of ripstop that's used is actually kind of a smoother. I'm actually not entirely too sure how this difference comes into play. It's almost like a light lock fabric. It's a little bit smoother, and for the reason for that is I imagine just so it can slide a little bit on your torso without creating hot spots, or as many hot spots as say if it was a regular ripstop Cordura fabric of 500 or 1000D. That's what I believe this is for anyways, but for whatever reason it is a slightly different fabric than obviously a traditional Cordura that you see on the front. Now these loop strips that you see are actually there and designed to be used with the SKD Pontoon Pad System, and you're going to see that more so on my Daeodon Light carrier because I've actually got them in there, but you would actually put pontoon pads in here, and what those do are give a bit of space between the carrier and your torso to get a channel of air that can go in and out, as well as it is actually pads, so it takes some pressure off your rib cage and spine from wearing plates. So I'll show you those in the other carrier. So like I had mentioned, on the front plate pocket, it comes standard with ITW chasm clips or quick attach surface mount clips, and that is for things like EssTac placards, right? Or attaching your favorite chest carrier to this. Now, EssTac makes a ton of different variations of these placards. This just so happens to be their 3x3 AR and double stack pistol mag placard. They've got placards with AR mags and without pistol mags on the front, as well as 4-stack AR mags, SMG mags, you name it. They've also got a quick attach panel that just has PALS on it so you can rig it however you want. So now with pretty much every other placard or chest rig mounting system with chasm clips, all you do is clip in the clips of the placard into the chasm clips, and you lay down the Velcro backed placard onto the loop section on the front, and now you've got a rigged up plate carrier. Now this placard features the EssTac famous Gaye system of retention. That is essentially a Cordura outer wrap Kydex insert for the retention. So a lot of guys use these days. They're very popular on belt systems. I gotta say they're one of my favorite pouch systems right now, just because again, they're not as rigid as a fully molded Kydex solution. So that pretty much covers the regular Daeodon plate carrier. Now the reason why I have both is in my initial testing and fielding of the Daeodon regular plate carrier here. Now because it's designed for larger plates and below, and it does use this sheathing system, there is a limit to the size you can get. Now, I'm not an overly large person. I'm about 190, 195 pounds, you know, slim frame but muscular. So this large plate carrier fit perfectly in the plate pockets, but unfortunately, I just couldn't get these shoulder straps small enough. It's not to say it didn't fit, but what it did cause was when it was on my back, it caused the back plate to slide down a little bit further on my back than I like. Now we can go into a ton of philosophy about where your plates need to sit and all that fun stuff based on maximum protection and scientific data and all that sort of crap, but to each their own to a degree. Now my personal preference though is my back plate pocket sits about an inch under my T1 vertebra. So this would slide down over the course of the day, and not too bad, but it was a piece of feedback to go back to the EssTac guys. So I had mentioned this to them, and I gotta say, they're friggin' awesome dudes. They immediately offered to essentially make me a custom front plate pocket with a shorter sheath, because a lot of their work is actually done custom. Instead of that, what they did was they tried sending me the Daeodon Lite, which I'm going to show you now. Here you have the Daeodon Lite, or actually also known as the ASS, which is kind of hilarious in my mind. So we'll call it the ASS plate carrier. It features pretty much all of the same features that make the Daeodon itself such a unique and what I consider effective plate carrier. The only difference is things in the cummerbund and back panel styling, which we'll get to in a second, as well as the specific sizing that this is designed on. The difference between the Daeodon Lite is that it was specifically designed for 10 by 12 plates and lower. Okay, so not large and lower, it's more of a medium size and lower. So if you have a smaller frame like myself, this will fit a little bit better, especially in those shoulder straps. So the biggest difference that I've noticed between the two is that when I wear this carrier versus the original Daeodon, the back plate sits exactly where it needs to and it doesn't move. Now, just like the original Daeodon, again on the front you've got those ITW chasm clips. This is just another version of the EssTac front placard. So what you're seeing here is this is just 3 AR mags. You do get on the 3 AR only mag version some nylon pals on the front, so if you want to rig other things, put again chem lights, pens, what have you, you can do that. Now removing the placard there, you get to see the inner workings obviously of the front plate bag when it comes to the front attachment systems. Ignore the extra attachments here, things like this is a Coyote Tactical Solutions elastic tourniquet retention holder, as well as a C-Tom's tourniquet pouch here that I've got rigged up. The first thing you're probably going to notice here that's different from the original Daeodon is the Cummerbund system that I have set up. Now this is their belt Cummerbund system, or more specifically their QD buckle belt system here. Now this is to go more in line with the minimalist idea of the Daeodon light plate carrier, and I'll show you that in a second. Now on the back you're going to see a little bit of a difference too. There's not a full PALS matrix on the back. It's actually just a large loop field at the top for things like identifiers and whatnot, and then a loop field at the bottom which hides a non-flap based, so this is a permanent channel that runs through the back here. Now the reason for that is that again this is designed to be more of a minimalist carrier, and it supports different cummerbund options than the original Daeodon. Where the original Daeodon featured an entire full cummerbund, this is more meant to go more the minimalist route, either with their belt system, which I'll show you in a second, or this loop field here is for attaching things like elastic cummerbunds, which I'll also show you in a second. Now the attachment system for the cummerbund is virtually the same. There's elastic fabric in here with aluminum G-hooks on the end, and you would just move the aluminum G-hook up to a different PAL section that's on the outside of this belt system so you could resize it. Alternately, if you didn't want to use their belt system, which is basically a double reinforced nylon strap with some pals on the outsides for if you want to actually attach some things, some minimalistic things, maybe small pouches on the outside, you can do that. But also again, that's used for the size changing here in the back with the G-hook. You could also use something like this, which is an elastic cummerbund. This just so happens to be a Faro Concepts multicam elastic cummerbund. You would just attach it at the back here on the loop field, and then on the front you would just attach it like you would, and there you go. You've got an elastic cummerbund system on the side instead. Now how this cummerbund system is designed, again, it's more like a belt or a strap system, and it's actually designed in such a way, and I've seen this a couple times on a few different plate carriers these days, where it uses sort of like a polymer cobra buckle system. That way you don't have to constantly open up the flap, put it down every time you want to take the carrier off. You essentially would have it set up, your front flap would be on there. When you want to take off the carrier, you just disengage the buckle itself. Then when you want to put the plate carrier on, you simply just buckle the two sections together like you would any Cobra buckle system, and you're all set up. As I had mentioned during the regular Daeodon overview there, the inside of the Daeodon light is also set up with these loop fields for the SKD pontoon system. These are literally just attachable pads. They've got a hook strip on the inside that matches up with this loop field, and it's just a pad that you attach to the inside of the plate that creates a little channel of air here and here on the back, as well as some padding to take some of the stress off of your skeletal structure when wearing plates for a long period of time. In the Daeodon light here, I currently have a pair of 10x12 level 4 ceramic swimmer's cut plates, and literally it fits perfectly. Absolutely perfectly. It will also take sappy plates. There's enough material here in the shoulders here that it will accept also sappy plates, but again, for any of you guys wearing swimmers plates, this does fit swimmers as well. And I gotta say, this is probably one of my favorite carriers right now. I've worn a lot in my time doing airsoft stuff and now into firearms and range stuff. So I've had the benefit of being able to try out a bunch of different systems. And I gotta be honest, when you get into plate carriers, I mean, dude, plate carriers are plate carriers. They're eventually going to start to have all similar features. But this one, for me, stands out a little bit, mostly in the shoulder straps, the idea of how it spreads out the weight distribution, and just the features I've become accustomed to. I mean, over my transition of time with different plate carriers, obviously I went from ones that had full PALS fields on the front so I could weave a bunch of garbage on there that now I realize I don't need, to systems that allow me to swap out things quickly into different placards for different setups, things like that. Loop field at the front for my random patches I'll put up there for any point in the day. And similarly, I don't generally need a ton of stuff on the back, so these loop fields here and the slick back kind of works for me. And in terms of being a range rig, the Cummerbund here works fine. I don't actually wear a ton of stuff on my sides. And while the full mesh Cummerbund of the regular Daeodon work just fine, I actually do much prefer something more minimalist, such as the belt Cummerbund here. So all in all, awesome carrier. Now, it's the first time I've ever used a clip system here in the front, and I gotta say, I'm starting to grow on me. You know, I've always had my doubts about things like clip systems up here. It's extra weight. These being polymer, we talk about durability issues or what happens when they break, that sort of thing. Now, I haven't run into that just yet. Obviously, I'll update the knowledge if and when such an event ever happens. But all in all, with everything said and done, this has become pretty much my go-to plate carrier for the range. It carries my necessary tools for range work, being tourniquets. It's light enough that I can wear it all day. It holds my plates so I don't actually accidentally get hit with ricochets or shot over a berm by somebody who doesn't know how to shoot. And it attaches in a comfortable and accommodating fashion. So I really have nothing bad to say about this carrier. I haven't had any durability issues yet, but obviously we'll have to see over the test of time. Now, time for the housekeeping portion of the review. Obviously, I want to cover things like pricing and things like that, and give you the information you need to get in touch with EssTac or EssTac. By the way, if anybody knows the exact way to say that, I've heard it said both ways. So guys at EssTac, EssTac, let me know if I'm sounding ridiculous when I call it one way or the other. So you can find both of these carriers on EssTac.com or EssTac.com. The Daeodon regular sells for $250 US. address. The light version sells for $220. Now, both do not come with a front placard. You have to pick those to your configuration. They're in about the $50 to $70 range, depending on the configuration you go with. The light comes with the belt buckle style cummerbunds, and the regular comes with the mesh cummerbund. They obviously do have other styles of cummerbund for purchase if these don't float your boat. The other side of that too is if you don't find something that floats your boat, a lot of this stuff is custom made anyways, so EssTac will more than happily look into creating a custom solution for you. So guys, again, huge thumbs up to both of these plate carriers. The light I foresee being a plate carrier I use as a range carrier for quite some time, just because, again, I found it to be such an effective carrier of my armor plates for when I wear them. So guys, do check out EssTac.com. You'll find a ton of cool toys to play with on there, either for your airsoft or especially for your real world needs. So other than that, guys, thank you so much for your time. Thanks for the guys at EssTac for sending these out to me to play with and use. And other than that, I hope you guys have enjoyed. Thanks. So there you have it. That pretty much takes care of another episode of Robo-Reviews. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. As always, coming down the pipeline is tons of new content, being gameplay, reviews, and yes, even firearms content. I apologize deeply for being so inconsistent and slow this year. Things have changed at work, and I'm going through an adjustment period of a new schedule and new workload and all that fun stuff. So as always, I do promise to be here to release new content as soon as possible, when it's possible, and I just thank you guys for your patience and loyalty. So as always, I do want to take a quick second to thank my foremost awesome sponsors, being Enola Gaye Tactical Smoke Grenades, WGT Consulting, Coyote Tactical Solutions, and Virtus Outdoor Group. Now, these companies provide me support in such a way that allow me to do more airsoft and firearms adventures, but more importantly, bring you guys more gameplay, more reviews, and more philosophies to learn from and enjoy. So big thumbs up to these 4 companies. If you could do me a favor and visit the websites I've got linked in the description below. Thanks, guys. Now, whoa. You guys probably caught that one of my sponsors is sort of swapped out. Nothing big there, just some different directions going this year. Now, WGT Consulting is actually a firearms consulting company here in Canada that not only sponsors my range and firearms adventures, but I actually work for them on a part-time basis now. So you're gonna be seeing a lot from WGT Consulting and I over the course of this year. And what about Red Wolf? Actually, nothing big or nothing negative there. We just decided to part ways. But more on that in an announcement to follow in the future. Now, whether you did or you didn't like this video, this guy still wants to know about it. Drop me a line in the comments below. I love the feedback and the conversation. Now, if you're looking for a previous review or previous gameplay, you can actually tap or click right over there. If you're looking for my apparel site, you can actually tap or click down there. Now, if you're new here and you liked what you saw, you can subscribe by tapping or clicking down there. And for the rest of my followers, if you could do me a huge favor, and that is like and share with all your friends. Keeps me happening in this YouTube game. Until next time, guys, keep having fun playing airsoft, being good community members, defend what you love. Later, guys.